Adam Taxin now speaking with Marion Taxin, who happens to be my mother, but that's not why I'm talking to her right now. I'm talking to her right now because she was elected back in the spring as one of the delegates from Pennsylvania's 1st Congressional District, which is in Philadelphia and suburban Philadelphia. She's going to be one of the people there nominating in Tampa at the end of August, one of the people nominating Mitt Romney and now Paul Ryan. Mom, thank you. I'm going to have to call you Mom. It would be fake if I called you Marion. First of all, let me ask you what you thought of the selection of Paul Ryan, which occurred just yesterday.
I thought it was a great choice. There were many different, senators and other government officials who were part of the ones who were in the last round. But I really think that Paul Ryan was an excellent choice. He's young, he's energetic, he's smart, he is principled. He has going for him the fact that he's a wonk on economics and on the budget, and I think he's the perfect complement to Mitt Romney, who has wonderful managerial skills and executive skills, and what Paul Ryan adds to the ticket is the legislative skills, the ability to know how the process works, to get ideas from that point to be executed and to be achieved, and then to provide the solutions that are so sorely needed by our country at this time.
One comment I heard was that it sends a message not only that it makes the conservative base and the Tea Party base obviously very happy, much more than they expected to be, but it sends the message that this is a team that is dead serious about the economy. I imagine you agree with that.
Well, definitely. I mean, that's the issue that's on the minds of most people. It's absolutely critical that we restore prosperity and create jobs in this country right now. It's also absolutely essential that we tackle the very, very significant problem of the exploding deficit. And these two people have put that at the very, very front of their agenda. And in order for anything else to happen, one has to have a strong economy. And I think it just was an excellent choice by Mitt Romney. Now, I've heard people say that it was a bold choice, but that's good, because we want to have a president who's not afraid to make bold choices.
Now, I don't even think it's that bold a choice. In retrospect, it seems like a fairly obvious choice, other than his age. But even his age, how much he's accomplished by the age of 42, his age can be an asset. It's probably a little young, but
well, no, the point that I'm saying, I don't see that as a negative at all.
No, I know.
But safe choices would be people who really have absolutely no negatives. And when they say it's a bold choice, because you know that the Democrats will be trying to demonize him for being the author of the budget.
Right.
And that's the reason why I say it's a bold choice. It's not a safe choice.
Right. But they would demonize anyone.
Had he gone with Palenti or with Portsman, those would have been safer choices.
Right.
But I don't think they would have been the best choice for this country.
Certainly. But, and another thing about his age, I think it's an asset that these two candidates are such obvious winners in life that there was no nepotism involved, despite the success of Romney's father. I mean, they clearly are winners in accomplishment, and it's going to be tough for Obama and Biden to really challenge that. When you look at
that's the whole point. They have a track record. They have a real track record, both of them. The fact that Paul Ryan, at such a young age, was elected to be chairman of the Congressional Budget and Audit Committee shows you how much he had to be respected. He earned the respect of peers who obviously were older than he, and yet he was elected to that position despite the fact that he was younger than many others who may have been in contention. So I think that speaks well for him.
Just because of whom I'm interviewing right now, can you imagine how proud his mother must have been when he was in his early 30s and accomplishing what he was accomplishing?
Exactly. and I think also the fact that he is really self-made should really, really resonate well with the electorate. His father died when he was in high school. That would be like, and he had to really, I think, draw a lot of strength from within himself,
right,
in order to achieve, what he has. And he had jobs that all through college in order to financially get through his 4 years. I think he was a waiter. I heard he drove a Oscar Mayer Wienermobile.
Very
he had other jobs. And the point is, he doesn't come from affluence.
Right.
He's done this all on his own, and he's proved himself at each step, from when he was very young working in different congressional offices. And at each job he's excelled, and he's risen because of who he is. And I think that our country needs people who are of the quality that Paul Ryan is.
Yeah.
As well as Mitt Romney.
Yeah, and
who also was at the top of his class, both in business school and at law school at Harvard, and that tells you something about his intelligence. And
the nepotism doesn't, which sometimes is applied to John McCain and George W. Bush, doesn't apply to Mitt Romney, because while his father was completely self-made and a tremendous success, and Romney probably didn't ever have to worry about starving to death if he were a complete failure, it doesn't mean he would be the success.
Let me just tell you, he never got a penny of it. His dad left everything to charities, and everything that Mitt Romney has is self-made.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Right, no, I was just saying, if he had been a complete failure, there would have been something there for him in that event. I'm just saying that, but Romney had tremendous success, just because, just like, for example, Donald Trump had a successful father, but he exceeded that. That's all I'm saying about Mitt Romney in terms of the comparison to Paul Ryan. But I want to also move on to something. The Democrats tend to love to divide people. Daniel Greenfield had a column about that a few days ago, and they're probably trying to make Paul Ryan seem like a divisive person as an extreme conservative. It's out of their play act, but I just wanted you to respond to that.
Well, I think that would be just as erroneous as a lot of the other things the Democrats have done and the Obama campaign has done in the past few months. He's not a divisive person. If anything, he's just the opposite. He's not a divider. He's a unifier. And that by that, I mean he is liked by both sides of the aisles, and they respect him both for his judgment and his character and his abilities and his intellect and his wisdom. So he's anything but a divider. He's shown his ability to work with Democrats and find common ground, and I truly believe that if he, and I certainly hope that he and Mitt Romney will be elected in November, I think we will move forward in terms of enacting the policies that this country desperately needs to avert an economic implosion, which certainly is not, which is on the horizon, and also enact the policies and the plans that are necessary to bring us energy independence, etc. So,
yeah. Mom, I want to also follow up, because one thing, he's certainly not the first senator or congressperson to be put in a position of being nominated for the presidency or vice presidency. Romney clearly has a lot of executive experience. Obviously, Barack Obama did not. But, Ryan has not been in an executive position, and I know you have some opinions on that, too, that he still has the leadership. What do you have to say there?
Oh, my gosh. He's been a seven-term congressman.
Right.
He's been a seven-term congressman. He's the chairman, as I mentioned to you before, of Budget and Audit. In that, he has to go through every line item, starting with, for example, the defense budget. He knows what is entailed in that. He has the understanding of what is needed by defense. I mean, he is more qualified than Obama is. And, I just have absolutely no reservations about him on any front.
Well, another way the Democrats are going to try to divide people is the continuing war on women by the Republican Party, which means that obviously
there is
Paul
no
Ryan,
war on women. You're saying the Democrats try to make issues that are anti-war, but there's no war by the Republican Party, Adam.
I know that. I'm asking a question. That's all, Mom.
Okay, what's the question?
Let me finish the question, at least,
right.
Mom. Come on, I know I'm your son, but, treat this like a little bit like a professional interview. I'm saying the Democrats are going to say it's a war on women because he is pro-life, and you are obviously female. What's your opinion on the war on women that was emphasized by the choice of a pro-life running mate by Romney?
I think what women, mothers, and grandmothers, and parents for that matter, male or female, are interested is the future of their children. And certainly what we need to do as a country is work on reducing our deficit, being strong economically, so that we can provide for our children and grandchildren what was provided for us. It's each mother's or grandmother's wish and hope that their children and grandchildren will be better off than they themselves were, or at least be the same. And that's not what's happening today. Things are much tougher for kids. I read a statistic. It's definitely 25% or 30% or even higher than that of college graduates today can't find jobs. The percentage of young people living back at home with their parents is huge. These are not good things. They don't lead to confidence on the part of young people. It's demoralizing. It's important for opportunity to be there for future generations, and that's what should be the top issue for any mother or grandmother or aunt who is looking at the choices that are given today. Obama's been in office now for 4 years. There are more unemployed today than there were when he took office. Mm-hmm. The unemployment rate was then below 8%. He, in one day, forced a vote on the stimulus package because he said if it wasn't voted on one day after it was posted, within one day that it was posted, then our unemployment rate would go beyond 8%. That was in February of the year he was inaugurated. So we're talking about February 2009. Here we are, August 2012. And for how many months has the employment rate been over 8%? That's a disgrace. Mm-hmm. And we've got $1 trillion more of debt. Do you know how many zeros there are in $1 trillion?
Yeah, but I was 12. Always good at math, yeah.
12.
You know that.
That means if I gave you $1 every second, and I don't think that Americans understand this, if I gave you $1 every second, and I can't remember the exact number, but it's somewhere between 32 and 34,000 years to repay $1 trillion of debt. But it's not $1 trillion of debt that he has given to Americans. It's $5.2 trillion of debt in the not even 4 years he's been in office. Who's to repay that? You asked about women. The point is, it's the next generation, the children, the grandchildren, and that type of debt is not sustainable, and further increases of that type of debt. So what is great about Mitt Romney, what is great about Paul Ryan, is that they get it. They know they can no longer kick that can down the road. We need to deal with it. We need to deal with it in a way that we still support those in need, the infirm, the elderly, and that's exactly what they're trying to do. The Ryan budget, they're having all these false advertisements now about Medicare. Well, the truth of the matter is, in Obamacare, Obama took away $700 billion from Medicare. And the truth of the matter is, in what Paul Ryan has in his plan, no person over the age of 55 will have any change. They can keep the Medicare that they have today exactly as it is in the Paul Ryan plan. No changes. Mm-hmm. And yet, it's again part of the Democratic playbook to try to scare seniors. That's just not the truth.
Of course. Well, Mom, we've been on for a while. I know it's always nice to talk to your son, but we do have an audience here, and we probably don't want to go on too long. Just any final thoughts about, too young to be a heartbeat away for the presidency or anything else? One thing, actually, now that I think about it, I want to respond to. These problems may be impossible to solve. The debt may be at a point where it's impossible, but my sense is we couldn't possibly have a better team than Romney and Ryan. If we're going to solve it, we might as well put the best team possible, because if there's...
Well, the thing that I would disagree with you is I think all problems can be solved if people put their heads together and try to come out with a constructive solution that works for most of the people. And everybody has to give a little bit. And I do agree with you, Adam, completely, that we have the best possible team there to do that. And you know that Paul Ryan has been trying for years to get people to look at the budget and modify it where necessary or where other good ideas may impact. But the problem and the lack of leadership by this current president in not making the Senate pass some kind of bill so that it can go into conference and be discussed and modified so that we could actually have a budget that works instead of keeping increasing the deficit is irresponsible and shows no leadership at all. So So what I'd like to end with...
I have another question. I forgot, so you're not going to end with this yet.
Okay, well, can I do my final thought on this one, and then I'll answer your final question?
Yes.
What I was going to say is that in Mitt Romney and in Paul Ryan, we will get people who will lead, who will be truly leaders, and will guide us to restoring our country to one of prosperity.
One thing I have to bring up, because, Jewish delegates are in the minority, and I'm Jewish, and, I'm not a convert, so you, by definition, are Jewish too, obviously. There's been a lot of talk about the Jewish vote, and I just wanted your opinion on the Romney-Ryan team versus the Obama-Biden team in terms of Israel, especially when the majority of the Jewish vote inexplicably goes to Democrats, and will probably inexplicably go to Obama.
I think that some Jews are getting to see it. I don't really understand why more don't, but in terms of being a friend to Israel, clearly the Romney-Ryan ticket is going to be strongly supportive of Israel. Note how Obama, during his presidency, has never once visited Israel. Note how Mitt Romney has already been there. Also, I might add that Mitt Romney and Netanyahu are friends from way back, and they have a very close relationship. And I think the difference is that surrounding countries who may be hostile to Israel will know that there will be a strong response if Mitt Romney is president. I think that Obama's actions do not correspond with his words. And while he may say that he's a friend to Israel, in many instances during the past almost 4 years, he has proven that he has not been one.
Yeah, and you know what? I like your understatement there. The surrounding countries may be hostile to Israel. I think we can pretty confidently say that they are. One final question. I'm a little more conservative than you are. You're not, to the left of the Republican Party. You're really probably in the middle. I'm to the right of the Republican Party. And it occurred to me when Ryan was chosen, a lot of, very conservative Republicans were nervous about the pick, that aside from maybe Alan West, he's probably the most popular potential candidate of all. Most popular person, maybe Jim DeMint and Jan Brewer up there, among Tea Partiers. And I just can't think of anyone who's better at unifying the Republican Party.
Well, I think that everybody I've spoken to, and that would include people, and it's only been really a day, so everyone with whom I've spoken, no matter how conservative or where they stand within the Republican Party, is very happy with the choice of Ryan.
Agreed.
And so I think he is definitely good for the party, but I think more importantly, he would be so good for this country.
All right. On that note, Mom, Marion Taxin, a delegate to the Republican Convention from Pennsylvania's 1st Congressional District, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam. Bye.
Bye.